You guys, Barokoshama here with another Elemental Shaman video. This video is how to parse like a pro Mythic King Garoth with Frostquake, the newest and most badass build out there for the Elemental Shaman. Let's get into it. So what is Frostquake? If you guys haven't seen my video, I'll leave a Frostquake video link in the description down below. That's a guide for the build. It's extremely fun, it's mobile, it's crazy. You got to know what you're doing, otherwise you're going to fall through. Let's talk about what I do in this scenario to get a very high parse for Mythic King Garoth. And tips and tricks on how to save your CDs, when you should be using your things, Maelstrom management, gear, talent setup, legendaries to use for this. It's the Frostquake build, so you're going to be using Ice Fury with Echo of the Elements and Elemental Blast, coupled with Aftershock and Totem Mastery, Gust of Wind for mobility, and Lightning Surge Totem for utility. This is a high mobile build, so it works perfect for King Garoth because you're constantly moving around, dodging balls, going to those ads, getting rid of or getting away from that big ass beam that kills you in one shot. Don't stand in that. Yeah, it's very high mobile, and the ads take extra damage. And what's so great about the Frostquake build is that you are so front-loaded so often. You have such high burst capabilities so often because you have very short burst cooldowns that this definitely works, and it's a good build for the fight. So let's get into it. What legendaries? Boots and shoulders. The boots and shoulders coupled together with Aftershock allow you to get out a lot of Earthshock procs and potentially a lot of Earthquake procs. The way that your tier set works with this is amazing because you're pretty much getting a good use out of every Earthen Strength proc that you get from your 2-piece bonus. Earthen Strength is the buff that you get from your 2-piece bonus. It happens every time a lava burst hits the target. You gain this buff. Damage of your next Earthshock or Earthquake or Frost Shock is increased by 20%. And since we're using all 3 of those spells in our rotation, it just makes sense, right? So, yeah. What your stats are with Frostquake. I've gone over this in my Frostquake guide that I put out, but I'll say it again here. Your stat weights are pretty much crit over versatility because we're instant casting a lot and haste isn't as valuable. Obviously, you should be paying attention to your own stat weights and listen to those over me, but I'm just giving you guys a guideline. Crit over versatility, way over haste and mastery and intellect. Secondary stats are the key this expansion, unfortunately. Hopefully things will change at BFA so that intellect is weighed more. But anyway, I digress. I have 13% versatility, 36 with crit food buff of crit, and 24 haste with totems down, and 49 mastery. My trinkets for this are Norgannon's Prowess, Acrid Catalyst Injector, and I have the Stabilized Energy Pendant, which helps with my maximum Maelstrom value. My 4 set pieces are gloves, helmet, cloak, and chest. And these are my rings that I'm using. The crit and versatility ring from Archway, and the crit and haste ring from the Mythic Coven fight. So let's get into the video. What you guys should be doing at the start, your opener is going to be very similar to what your usual opener is. You're going to be pre-pawning, then Fire Elemental, pre-cast your Elemental Blast into that Flame Shock. But a lot of guilds actually don't lust on the start of this fight, and I'll give you a reason why. They save it for the 3rd ad phase when obviously the ads are taking more damage, right? But in this situation, you're not going to be using your Stormkeeper off the start. Because it's a minute cooldown, it's not going to be up in time for the first ads to come out, whereas your Ice Fury will. So you will be using your Ice Fury at the pull here. So like I said, Elemental Blast as a precast into your Flame Shock, then using your Ice Fury and Lava Burst stacks. Make sure, actually, that you're using your Ice Fury in between these Lava Burst casts, and then very quickly Frost Shocking after your second cast of Lava Burst. Because of the way that the Lava Burst travel time works, your Earthen Attunement or your Earthen Rage stack is not going to go on the target until it hits the boss, right? So you actually have some room to weave those Frost Shocks in. Here, you also want to be capping your Maelstrom and saving it for the first ad phase. you'll see that I still cap my Maelstrom, and then I use my Stormkeeper. The adds come out, I immediately Earth Shock. I get a bunch of procs here with my Earthquake. I use a Lava Burst to put it down, and then I'm getting rid of all of my stacks here. I'm just blowing up the boss with my load. You know, using those Earthquake stacks, Frost Shocks with Ice Fury. It's very front-loaded, okay? You want to be saving your cooldowns pretty much for every ad phase. So keep an eye on your timers for Apocalypse Protocol. If you have around a minute left on the timer when your Stormkeeper comes up, then you can use it. Be smart with your cooldowns, understand how the boss cooldowns work, and you should be fine on this fight. I'm going to be showing you guys the rest of the fight here, so I just want you guys to have the fundamental understanding of when to use your cooldowns, how to prepare for the ad phase by capping up your Maelstrom as high as you can for that first initial Earth Shock, because that's important. When the ad comes out for the first second, he takes the most damage in that 1 second. Because the more he casts that spell that the ads are casting, the lower damage he will be taking from that debuff that he has on him, okay? So you really want to be saving up your Maelstrom for that first initial Earth Shock. Because of how movement heavy this fight can be, Frostquake is very, very useful. Keep that in mind when you're picking talents and build situations. Other builds definitely do work. You're going to see a lot of higher parses using other builds. But I just love using Frostquake so much that I was able to really do a good job on this fight because of that. So, with all that in mind, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Subscribe if you want more Elemental Shaman content. Like the video if you like it. If you guys want to check me out on my social media, Instagram and Twitter, the links to that will be in the description down below, along with my twitch.tv/Barokoshama link, where you can catch me live for my live streams that I do pretty much every day. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of the video. See you next time.